Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brown Water Banter Podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
That's right. We got a great show for you today in the studio. Aloysius is hanging out with this man. He's got so much stuff going on.
Mardi Gras.
I didn't know what you was going to. He's got so much stuff going on. I'm not even going to attempt to list it all in the intro. We're going to let you take over here in just a bit and describe it all. Tonight's going to be a good one. This evening is going to be a good one. It is, like Joey said, it's Mardi Gras. And all y'all that talk to us, Joey, and tell us that y'all like the banter episodes, this is going to be a banter episode. I can already tell you the liquor, the bourbon has already been poured. It's in the glasses. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. But first, like we always like to do, we are going to thank the people that support us. Support the people that support you. That's the theme of the show tonight.
That's right.
You heard us talk about them before. If you're in the area, or even if you're not in the area and you want to drive over here, you've been looking at your teeth, you're thinking, man, I need to get them clean. I need to get a fresh toothbrush, some toothpaste. I need some, what is it? Fluoride, Joey.
Floss.
Floss they put on your teeth. This is the team right here located in Ocean Springs on Washington Avenue. Dr. Robbie Williams at Southern Magnolia Smiles on Instagram and Facebook. They're tech savvy. You can reach out to them, hit them up. Check out their socials. If you're old school, you want to go traditional and look them up on the website. It's southernmagnoliasmiles.com. Give them a call, book an appointment, tell them that we sent you. It's 228-215-1202. Joey and I both are clients, not just supporters, but we're also clients. We couldn't be happier with Dr. Robbie and his team, man. I just went last week, and my 5-year-old went. Him and his staff took care of him. It kept him laughing the entire time. He had a great experience, walked out with a new toothbrush that he hasn't stopped talking about.
That's right. It's probably his favorite one.
It is. So if you got kids or even as an adult, man, they can take care of whatever.
He just threw me a lot of beads today at the parade route.
He had a float in the parade today. So
he's a stud.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. So go check him out. Tell him that we sent you. Moving right along. We mentioned it on the last episode. We are super pumped with Jesse and Hill Tree Marketing. This is a picture of him and his team right here that he has put together, a team of professionals. If you're looking for any type of website design, IT work, photography, videography, aerial drone cinematography. That word's so fancy. I would call him just to see what that's all about anyway.
Yeah, if you don't know what
don't know what it is. That's right. Hit him up. HillTreeMarketing.com, man. They build websites. They're local. He's a local guy. We know Jesse. He's good people. And just so you know that we're not making all this up or just tooting our own horns here, Joey, tell them about what recently went down. And we're going to get into this into the show as well.
And because the guy sitting across of us has won many awards as well.
That's right.
But we were lucky enough, Jesse entered our website into it, and we were lucky enough to win gold, and I think it was
Best of Show.
Best of Show.
Correct.
Yeah. And the Addies.
And the Addy Awards. Am I saying that right? Addy Awards?
And we had absolutely no idea what was going on.
Not only did we not know we won, we didn't know we were entered.
Jesse was like, hey, man, I got some good news for y'all.
Yeah.
Well, great. Oh, and we won.
Yeah, nothing feels better than being able to brag about an award that you didn't even know about. Right. So, all bullshit aside, man. Hill Tree Marketing, go check them out. Maybe you're a content creator locally here. Maybe you have a small business. Maybe you have a website that you're not happy with. That you're like, oh, I'm going to get around to doing it myself, and I'm going to watch YouTube videos and figure it out. You're not going to do that. And you're not going to do as good a job as Jesse can. And his prices are reasonable, man. It's worth it. Invest in yourself. Invest in your business. Right. Moving right along, saltwater fabrication. Can't say enough good things about old Vince, man. If you have an idea and it's made of metal, he can do it. He cut his teeth building custom T-tops like you can see right here. That's what he got into. Obviously, we live on the Gulf Coast here. That type of stuff is in high demand, but he's branching out. He's not a one-trick pony. He can do many things. Neon Moon, free plug there for you guys down in downtown Ocean Springs.
Anything you need metal-wise.
If you want to sponsor the show at some point.
That's right.
But look, Vincent did this table work for them right there, the metal legs. You can check it out right here, people on the live stream. It looks really good, man. He builds custom T-tops, as I mentioned already, but he can do whatever, dude.
A lot of people think they know how to weld,
right?
But a lot of people don't weld good.
Well,
and Vincent welds good.
And not only that, though, the custom creativity part of it,
right?
Ridiculous. Being able to take an idea
like a Picasso
from concept to finish.
He's the Van Cleef Picasso.
He's gonna like that one. We're gonna have to send that to him in a text message. And just another kind of proof that we're not lying. People started reaching out to him and saying they wanted merch from him. Now, how many businesses that are in fabrication do you see people on social media asking for merchandise? So you can see his sweater here, his hoodie. He's got T-shirts, and does he have hats?
He's got hats. He had a killer layout at the dang boat show, man.
He did.
And he made it the night before.
He did.
Literally the night before he welded it together.
He did. So we probably should have led with this, but hit him up on Facebook, Saltwater Fabrication, or give him a call. This is his personal cell phone number, man. 228-229-8855. You're going to get him direct. Tell him what you're thinking and let him build it. Man, we appreciate all the sponsors and thank y'all for sitting with us through that. That means the world to us. And if you're in the market for any of those services, check them out. All right. That was a long-winded introduction, but it felt damn good. Yeah. Let's get to the nitty-gritty, man. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Are we just going to go with Lo? Let's just go with Lo. Let's cut all the formalities out.
Y'all know me, man.
Yeah. So tell us what you got your hands in a lot of stuff.
A lot of irons in the fire.
A lot of irons in the fire. How do I describe? I was going to say content creator. Is that accurate?
I've been going more so with creative director lately because with everything that I do, production, actually filming, consulting, like a lot of it just really comes down to my creativity. That's the value that I bring that a lot of people can't do. A lot of people now, you can go buy a camera that can do a lot of neat tricks and shots.
Right. Hell, your cell phone.
Yeah. And but the thing that brings people back to the table is the need for creativity. That's what I consider to be the value in people like myself who can sit down and make something cinematic or storytelling out of any.
Agree with that.
That's awesome.
Let's start with hold on, I had it pulled up here. What is hold on, I got it right here. Your company, your Beyond Expectation Productions. Is that your umbrella? Would you call it?
That is the umbrella of everything that I do. I actually started my business with a bottle of Windex and a cleaning cloth, man. I tell people that all the time. I didn't have any startup money. I was just a creative, just grinding, man. And the only way that I could get the first bits of equipment that I needed was to literally clean display cases at a place that was called Music Go Round. And from there, swatted a lot. Had to eat a lot of humility.
Yeah.
But got me on track to live out my dreams, and definitely, had the support of my amazing wife who was willing to allow me to
always.
Now he can't see my screen. I just flashed her comment on the screen right when you said that. The timing was perfect. She said, "Looking fabulous, babe." So
there you go.
She's supporting, dude. She's supporting.
When I was just a hopeful guy with a bunch of dreams, she believed in every last one of them.
And you got to have two hands.
Oh,
you the right hand, she got to be the left hand.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So you didn't have the startup capital.
No,
had to grind it out yourself. Had a vision, a dream of what you wanted to do. Were you always creative? Were you always in video?
I've always been creative. My mother, I attest that to her because she really encouraged a lot of that. Always had a vivid imagination, man.
Right.
But what really set me was that she was big in reading. I was the kid who had a stack of Book It. You remember the Book It?
Yes.
So
the pizzas.
I would read so many books that Miss Cox and Miss Lee back then at St. Martin East. Shout out to St. Martin East.
Yeah, baby.
So we skipped that whole point.
We're gonna get there.
We skipped that whole point.
We're gonna get there.
Would allow us to check out books and read them, and I would go home every night and read these books and do a book report. So it wasn't just reading the books. You had to talk about what you got out of it. So that really taught my foundation of how to tell stories and convey them from an early age. And I think that really set me in falling in love with how stories made people feel.
Yeah, and you wrote them. You write them on camera every day.
Right. Every day, man.
Right. So let's go back to that because we're all jackets here.
Go ahead.
We're all jackets here.
St. Martin,
all
baby.
graduated from St. Martin, baby. All Stingham. So you graduated from St. Martin. Then where'd that take you?
Actually, man, shout out to being a Yellow Jacket. But what's funny is I remember being in high school, man, and I wanted to go into film. But at the time, I don't know if I don't want to call her name because, we're a small community here.
That's right.
But our counselor then she actually told me, like, I don't think you'll be successful as a filmmaker. I don't think this is something.
What?
This is not a career that is kind of, for better lack of terms, for you people of your nature.
Oh, okay. Oh,
ouch. So I remember, like,
we came up in the 80s and 90s. People.
Yeah,
it was
man.
a way different time back then.
It was different, you know. But
that's terrible, though. Honestly, God,
so
that's pretty shitty.
It crushed me, because she was somebody that, if you know St. Martin, academics was very big.
Mm-hmm. I would have thought, like, geographically, that's not a good career choice, because we're here local in
small town
Mississippi, not a bustling film industry, especially back when we were in school. Exactly. However, and I can throw a story on you for this later, but New Orleans is not very far away from here. You know what I'm saying? So but go ahead, keep going.
There was options, man. Yeah. and you know, there was options. But here's the thing I learned from that is that you got to be careful who you trust your vision to.
Yes.
Because if people don't understand it, they won't be able to tell you how to get there. So what I learned was that she just never had any experience dealing with someone like me who wanted to go in a creative field. Yeah. Because even now, being in a creative field is not the most, like, lucrative.
Yeah.
Well, it's on a big curve, like from nothing to everything.
And I work at a school too, and it's kind of like, you got to get all the fish in one net, the majority of the fish in one net, and that one little fish that gets away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can't really mess with that guy or girl, but they're there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just got to put you in some kind of path. Hopefully you make it.
Right.
But you broke out of that net. And
the free thinkers and the creatives, it's like, they're like, we don't know what to do with that.
Correct.
Have you thought about accounting?
And really, that's what my dad kind of encouraged me to go into, like, economics and accounting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what's funny.
Talent, ladies and gentlemen. What do you want to tell you? It's just talent.
So I ended up trying to go that route, and I never forget, I was sitting in my economics class. Now, I want people to understand, like, you know, we went to a very amazing high school who prepared us for the next step.
Correct.
And both of my parents come from an engineering background, so, like, they highly intelligent, come up with things. So I had a very logistical mind.
Okay.
So anything that allowed me to deal with patterns, formulas, or just how things flow,
you figured it out.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
I was sitting in an economics class, and I just remember looking down at the assignment and just saying, I cannot do this. This is not who I am.
Yeah. I
got up in the middle of the class and I said, I'm sorry, professor. This is not me.
I'm out.
And thankfully he allowed me to withdraw, but they thought I was crazy. They were like, man, like, you're doing so well. Like, this is a sound career,
right,
where you could make great, you know,
money.
Yeah. And I wasn't happy, man. So, you know, God always has a plan. And I end up getting back into music. If you remember in high school, man, like, we won the talent shows. Yeah. So we were very creative in music. Like, it just was on all fronts for me.
Now,
man.
when he says we, who was we? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, it was me, like DeJuan Pullins,
dude, my memory's terrible.
Tank Smith.
Gosh, damn it.
Tank was my dog.
Yeah, you know, Tank's musical too, man. And all
that dude could jump a hurdle too.
Hey, you know, but that was like our, like, coming of age back then. Like, we all did so many things, man, which made, like, growing up here just a very wonderful experience. I highlight the Gulf Coast every chance I get. When I would go out and work in Vegas or New York or Atlanta or Chicago, Nashville, the first thing people would say to me every time was, there's no way you're from Mississippi.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
But you I think you need to cut it off at, like, Stone County.
Hattiesburg.
Like halfway through Stone County.
You can go to Hattiesburg. Even though they shit on us in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
They do. I love my Hattiesburg people.
Because when you say the coast, it's a whole different animal.
Absolutely.
Man.
And I say that, now we'll agree, the coast has a very different climate than a lot of the rest of the state.
Completely different.
You know, but we have, I think it's 10, we get a lot more traffic of people and just a lot more experiences based on that.
Well, there's a shit ton of culture down here. There's a
it's
lot
a
of different groups.
It's
a gumbo.
gumbo.
Yeah. It was New Orleans' playing ground from way back in the day. They would vacation over here.
Yep.
The Vietnamese culture that moved in the 70s.
Seafood
industry. Lots of immigrants from Slavonian, the lodge, all of those people.
Melting pot.
It's been that way for a long time.
Yes.
It really has.
And then when you go out of town, you always hear, "Oh, y'all are from Mississippi.
Right.
What do you got in Mississippi?" And I'm like, "Come down to the coast. Come hang out with us."
I tell you what, a lot more people are moving here, man. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen this kind of development since Katrina. I'm like, where are all these people coming from?
California.
Yes. Texas, all coming this way. And I think it's because hospitality, kill them with kindness. The same thing your grandma told you, kill them with kindness. You come to Mississippi and everybody's like, "Hey man, what's up? I don't care what you look like, what's going on. Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" Especially on the coast. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. You mentioned a second ago that early on that you wanted to do the creativity stuff.
Yeah.
And they kind of was like, nah, that's not really the way you need to go. But before that, you talked about reading books and stuff when you was a kid. From telling the counselor what you wanted to do to reading books and doing book reports, what creativity did you do in between? Did you pick up an instrument? Was you a drawer?
Naturally, from 3, I've played music. It just came. I was beating on pots and pans.
Right.
My mom said as I started to understand the different sounds the pans would make, I started aligning them to where I was making rhythms. That's when they knew it was a little something more than a kid, just banging. From there, I ended up becoming a drummer first.
Okay.
And then I remember one time we were at church and I just didn't want to play drums anymore, for the time. So I picked up a bass. Nice. And when I picked up a bass, life changed. It just came and it was like that with any instrument. I could just pick it up and learn it without any instruction. Matter of fact, my mom tried to put me in piano lessons, but she moved at such a slow rate. I'm like, I want to play. I don't want to, which is something I had to learn and develop.
I don't want to play
control.
I don't want to kill it.
You know what I'm saying?
Got to crawl before you can walk.
That's right.
And a lot of times that was my, Achilles heel was that I had so much talent, natural born talent, that the foundation of what I was doing
was ahead of everything.
Yeah. And I didn't want to, and my dad was really good at helping me learn how to use work ethics and just being patient to develop in something.
Right. Learn the fundamentals, get it under your belt.
Were you in the band in school?
What was funny was coaches never really let me do that.
You're right.
Coach Mullins, Coach Driscoll.
Coach Mullins, yeah.
Every time I wanted to try to go into the musical side, they said, well,
get back on the sideline.
Yeah. You know, that was the culture at St. Martin. We didn't have a football player. Not if you started or if you were a prominent player.
You play football, you ain't going
dividing. Yeah. They didn't really believe in that.
Football first.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Matter of fact, Coach Oates used to come get me at 5 a.m. before school. I would shower at the field house after workouts, man. That's how dedicated they were.
Yeah.
But hey, man, go Jackets.
Yeah.
Sting them, baby.
Hey, fill that glass back up whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. Go ahead. No.
So no band in high school. You played music in high school though, right?
Yeah. I'm still a musician,
right?
But my career in music didn't come through the traditional band methods. I just kept getting better and better. Thankfully, I've had some great mentors, Eric Brown, some guys who were doing music at a national level. And I end up just being able to play. Shout out to Blaine Ashley. I don't know if you know Blaine.
I know Blaine.
Yeah, Blaine. I know Blaine. Blaine took me in, man. Really showed me the music industry.
Yeah, Blaine's doing his thing. Blaine runs sound for us when we do our live shows.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So let me tell you a funny story about Blaine. So I was 15, 16 when I met Blaine, and he was like, I need somebody, he was running 2 or 3 bands, so he needed somebody to fill in. Now, Blaine's only thing that I had to abide by was that after every break, I had to go to the van and stay in the truck because we were playing clubs.
You were underage.
I was underage. So he didn't want me.
Was you playing bass or drums for him?
I was playing both. I was switch hitting.
Okay.
So whatever he needed me to do, whatever band, I would fill in whatever role.
Right.
But he never, ever let me. Yeah. And he promised my parents.
He never let you hang out.
And he promised my parents, if you let him play, I promise you.
And I believe that because when
a lot of stuff. Y'all got the same thing going with Dylan.
Yeah,
in y'all's band.
Yeah.
He's underage.
He's my guitar player's son. We've been doing our band so long.
Yeah,
his son is now old enough to play with us, and he's in the band. He's a member, but he's 15.
Yeah,
so it's like
I was there.
Can we get in this club with our guitar player? Or how does that work?
We promise.
Yeah,
he won't
drink.
Yeah,
his dad's here. If he is drinking, he'll just discipline him. It's not a problem. So
spank him.
But yeah, no, Blaine shows up like with a crew.
Yeah.
Like organized.
And he's
organized.
He taught me the business, man. And I call him Pops. He taught me how to navigate the industry that is music. And I appreciate that. So even with all of that, he helped me, get established. I end up going to Berkeley, learning how to become like a producer for real.
Okay.
Because like I said, at this point, I'm learning how to balance the fundamentals with the talent to pair them. And it made me, really attractive to a lot of people, a lot of, events and opportunities.
Well, okay, let's get back to those then. So again, the counselor telling you don't go this way. You go to accounting, economics, right?
Yeah.
And then where did you make the turn and end up at Berkeley to say no, I'm doing this?
Well, I just realized like if I'm going to do this for real, if I want to be taken seriously in this career, you got to have credentials. At that time, like,
but you weren't scared.
But I wasn't scared.
Yeah,
I've never taken the plunge. Though,
I've never really ever been like afraid of jumping. That's right. Like I used to have this saying that my grandfather used to say. He said, Lo, you're a fool for faith. So like I would always just. Yeah, there you go. I see you over there, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just something about trusting what's inside of you, man.
Right.
And for me, that was just such a prominent thing that has really allowed me to end up where I am. But it's always been attractive to bigger entities because a lot of people don't walk in that lane. A lot of people, they follow what's safe.
Right.
And when you want to shake things up, you need a person like me.
Very few leaders.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, a lot of people fall in line.
Yeah, so
and a lot of people don't go the same path you did.
Yeah.
And then my family too, man. Like my family has always been encouraging. I got married early, so even on my wife's side of the family, my father-in-law has always been like somebody who's just like, hey man, you've got the skill set to do
you. Yeah.
Let's see how far you can go. And when you have that circle of support like that and trust, where you have no fear of failure.
Right.
See, that was the difference.
Because somebody's gonna pick you up
no
matter what.
Like somebody like
support.
Even, with the podcast, like, hey man, y'all go try it.
Right.
Yeah.
If it fails, we got you. You're good.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it makes you kind of approach it a little bit different.
Right.
So that's kind of how I ended up where I was on the path of being able to just take these opportunities and try my hand at them.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's awesome.
I like it. So tell us about Berkeley. What was that experience like? What did you major in?
I majored in music production and technology.
Okay.
So I was learning how I've always been smart enough to know talent isn't enough. Talent comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to be the person controlling the spotlight. So if you can produce it, if you can know how to set it up and how to break it down and how to distribute it, then you become a person that can be in multiple situations.
Not a one-trick pony.
Yes, sir.
Talent will come through there.
Yeah,
right.
Because talent is trendy. Think about it. Frank Sinatra was at a peak at one point, and then Elvis Presley comes.
Well,
and you see what I'm saying? Like,
I actually talked about this last night on the other podcast. You can look at any band. We're going to stick with music, right? Any band that you think was super talented, and they are. The example I gave was like Leonard Skinner, but like you have to pay your dues, and you meet a lot of other people along the way, the ones that made it, that were either the business savvy guy or the finance guy, right? Or the label guy that said, oh, I see what you're doing, and we're gonna push you. And there's a lot of other artists that you ain't never heard of that were talented, but they didn't. The cards didn't fall that way,
exactly.
or you know, chance, luck, lack of dedication, lack of work ethic. They quit 1 month before they got their big break, right? So there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle. And what I think what you're saying, right, is the more you know, the more pieces you can control yourself.
G.I. Joe's, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, and it's like with anything you create. Like at heart, I am a producer of all sorts. I like to see things go from a concept to actually a physical, tangible thing. And I equate that to just like the fact of back to storytelling.
Right.
A story starts with an idea. And for you to take someone on a journey, you got to have an end in mind, and you got to make it where it makes sense in between. And a lot of times, even with the music is nothing but a sonically story.
Yeah.
You know,
put a beat behind it.
Yeah. You don't have to hear the words to Purple Rain. You can just listen to the instrumental and you know something serious has happened. Somebody is going through, you know, any favorite song you have, that is a story, you know. And I like that it paved the road for me to become a better filmmaker, because by doing that, I understood pacing. I understood rhythm of sorts. And then when I went to school to Berkeley, I understood how elements working together in an entirety would make such a beautiful sounding and image that you would have.
So at Berkeley, was it audio and sound, or was there a video element in there as well?
There was no video element. It was just strictly like, matter of fact, when I first got there, we didn't do anything. It was just all studying like the greats, Steely Dan, who shout out, who is actually coming to Pensacola or Atlanta somewhere soon. I got to try to get to that tour.
Okay.
But like Steely Dan, of course, like Led Zeppelin, like a lot of like people who can do it more than once.
Yeah.
A lot of people can make a hit once.
Was the video just because of the times, or just because of what you were studying?
It was just the focus. They're very big on just when you come in, they really want the foundation of what they lay in you and what you leave with to be something you can practically use when you leave.
Okay.
A lot of schools now they're giving people so many fragments that you don't really have a sound foundation in anything. And Berkeley is the opposite of that.
So they wanted you to start first thing first.
And they tell you from jump, you're going to dedicate your life to this. You're going to be very tired. It's going to be a lot of work. But when you leave here, you're going to be able to go out into the real world and do this without hesitation.
So when you left there, was video in your tool belt?
It was starting to come. Okay. I had just started picking back up a camera. You remember the HHD cameras, the hard drive camera recorders? That's what I was fooling with at the time. And I was opening that thing up as much as possible. YouTube had just started really taking off. And, you know, I was like, oh, this is still a possibility.
Right.
And because of that, it ended up taking me to Full Sail University, where I started where I majored in film and digital cinematography. And from there, my worlds collided. And that's when the light bulb really went off for me.
Okay. Perfect storm. Where's Full Sail University?
It's in Winter Park, Florida, really Orlando.
Yes.
But it's down.
Did you go down there on campus? Did you do it? Because I know nowadays, I don't know about when you went, you can do some of it online and through.
Now,
like
some
Zoom
of it
and
was
stuff.
like hybrid, but I did most of mine online. So like at the time I was working still.
Okay.
So like what they had was the program where if you were still like actively working, like you could still, they would work with you to do whatever you needed to. And a lot of my professors were very supportive because, you know, they wanted to see how you could handle real life projects, as well as getting the extra care of guidance from mentoring by the staff.
Okay.
And like, it was maybe a few of us that were doing it. It was a lot harder, but I liked it because it taught me how to project management and how to navigate multiple things at one time. And I want to say I would have had a 4.0 GPA, had that one professor who never gives out any A's. I'm not going to say his name because, hey, man, we all are just living about that. Yeah. Like he literally tells you from day one in his synopsis, you will not get an A in this
What an
class.
asshole.
Then why am I here?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Because he feels like you can't know it all. If I tell
That's
you have
bullshit.
an A, then that means you're perfectly understanding all aspects of film.
Of the
Get outta
his
here.
class ain't all aspects of film. His class is one niche of one
bit,
topic. So that's,
but you know,
that guy's an idiot.
There's always the guy that likes to claim he's cited a lot, but you don't really get out.
He needs to take a psychology class in ego. Is where I would go with that.
So you got a bachelor's?
Yeah, I got a bachelor's in film
from Berkeley.
Yeah, music production and technology, and then I have a bachelor's in film and digital cinematography.
So you went back to Florida to get another bachelor's?
Yeah, it was more film, more video dedicated.
Yeah, Full Sail was just strictly video.
And see, I know about Full Sail through music. Full Sail does, you can major in audio production.
It's the creative Disney World.
Correct. If you're into that.
I was going to ask if it was related to Disney World.
Well, right now, like you got to think, Full Sail probably has more Oscar winner students than any other school in history. USC was like the GOAT before Full Sail kicked off.
Oscar in composition of
all of it, audio, like Grammys, Oscar, like from motion.
Do they have
arts.
an acting department?
They're not really into the acting stuff. It's more the production.
Okay.
So you got to think like CGI, motion graphics, like all of the things, film, grips. Anything that's backlot and like production wise, they teach.
Yeah. Okay. And they're winning.
Yeah.
They're winning the game.
Well, I mean, you got to think you don't have, we're not like hung up on having to do so much of the fluff. Like you take your basics,
right,
and then
you're right into what you're doing.
On job training,
exactly. It's more like Joe. It's more like what we talk about with you and what you send your students to, like OJT.
Yeah,
you're here for a thing. You want to be this, but it is still school,
absolutely.
Right? You know, so
but you're working.
Yeah,
you're
but even when you're in school, like he's saying, you're not necessarily darting off to all these other paths. Right. If you're going to be an audio engineer, you're studying audio. Engineering. All your classes about audio engineering and it's technical.
Yeah. So because you know, college is a business. So really, if we can, the longer we get you to stay here, the more we spend. Yes. But like Full Sail says, hey, we're going to charge you the money, but we're going to give you actual things that you, and I mean, this is not a commercial for them, but I am an alumni.
Yeah.
But you know, but I also say that it is not a program for everybody. It's almost like being in the Marines. You can go in the Army, yes, but like there's an extra added layer of work to being like special forces.
Right. It's not cut out for everybody.
Yes. What Full Sail does is create you to be somebody of special forces. So it is very daunting. It's very hard. Like it's the workload is very exhausting. There were a lot of nights, man, I cried, but like it's what it is.
It skims the fat.
If you can cut it, you are well equipped to become an award-winning filmmaker.
There you go.
Hey, he said award-winning filmmaker.
We're getting into that. So you take it out of Full Sail. You got Berkeley, Full Sail under your belt. Then you come back here. Where do you go?
I'm home. And I am revisited to the notion that there's not much work here. There were like certain agencies, like you know, WLOX like held the marketing like grip forever.
Kind of
like everybody. If it wasn't
this is probably pre-social media.
Right. Yeah, this is like social media wasn't what it is now.
Right. So you had the news.
Yeah, so you had TV. If it wasn't on TV, nobody cared. That was the first thing people would say, well, can you shoot it for television?
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, but it'll be a little more costly. And then too, there was like the fact that I couldn't compete with their costs. Like they had people on salary that would shoot and film where I would have to pay full out rates.
Right.
That was just far more expensive than hiring them.
Yeah, because you're a freelance guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And those guys are on staff.
Right.
Guys.
So I just couldn't compete. So what I ended up having to do was to go work outside of the area, which was like great because I got to get a lot more experience, but I didn't like it because it meant I wasn't at home.
Correct.
And being like a young married guy, you know, this is not the ideal situation you want to be in.
You don't want to be away from your family.
Yeah.
So where'd you go? New Orleans, Jackson, Mobile?
Oh, I was traveling everywhere. Anywhere I could get work, man. Anywhere people were calling me to come in. And once I started establishing a name for myself, like people would just fly me out to be involved with different projects.
at this time? Is this music videos? Is this
this is
audio production? Is this
it's events, like televised events,
live production?
Yeah, like I did a lot of work in Nashville. I equate a lot of my resume to Nashville.
Okay.
Did a lot of great projects that was like at the Grand Opry Theater and a lot of different places where they were solidified. So like it
looked good on a resume.
Yeah, it looked great on a resume. And then you get to network with people
Correct.
who are actually working.
Correct.
And that was like a big thing. And I tell a lot of people now, if you don't have the skills to communicate and actually build an authentic relationship with people, then you're screwed.
Hang it up.
Because a lot of times I would meet people and they wouldn't call me until like months or maybe a year later.
Right.
And they were like, hey, I remember Lo, I've been waiting to get you in on a project. And you like, I thought you forgot about me, or
right.
I thought
it's
you
just, I thought it,
yeah,
it's just life though, right?
And then I realized, like in our industry, it takes because you got to go through, budgets and how much is it going to cost, and who do we like? What's the cheapest way? It's a lot of red tape in between these kind of productions. So being able to come in, and I had some great mentors, great opportunities to learn, and met some great people, man. But I met a lot of people who became very intimidated because I was willing to do the stuff that most people didn't want to do. So like, I give you an example. So one year we were doing a show in Nashville, and Nashville got snowed in. So because of the snowed in event, they had they do these gift bags for all of the celebrities.
Yes.
So there's 5,000 bags that have to be put in together.
Right.
Now, let me show you how things work. When I was in high school, I worked at the Grand. Do y'all remember Quentin Dukes?
Yes.
So Quentin got all of us in the Grand in banquet setup. Yeah. And so
we were at the Bow. Joey and I are the same story, but we were just at the Bow. Yeah.
So we were at the Grand, and I learned, the casino industry never stops.
No.
So there's never a no. Once the contract is signed, we got to fulfill our end of the deal.
Correct.
So we learned
no holidays, nothing. Every day.
It doesn't matter. You know it. So I learned how to really put events together and work events in the sense of that nature. So fast forward back to I'm in Nashville. It gets snowed in. A lot of the people hadn't come in. A lot of the staff and volunteers are stuck in airports because they're trying to get everybody situated with the snow. And because of that, they have 5,000 bags that need to be stuffed, and with the gifts and the Tiffany's and all this stuff. And there's like 12 people there volunteering. Nobody knows what to do. The person that was actually over it was stuck in the airport somewhere. Right. So I raised my hand and I said, I can do it. Yeah. The lady turns around and says, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are you?
And I introduce myself and I say, hey, I have a little experience with this. Back home, I'm giving her the spill.
Right.
And she says, at this point, I'll settle for anybody who can help. So I tell them, this is what I need. I need like 12 6-foot tables. We're going to line them up like this. I issue people, you're just opening the bags. You stuff them.
Right.
You do this.
Right.
We get this streamline logistic line going. We get all the bags finished and we set them out, right? As I'm finishing the last bag, making sure everything's in place, a group of people walk in. And when they walk in, they said, oh my gosh, we got it done. Who's responsible for this?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was the owner of the production.
Right.
And he and his team were there, and he came over and he shook my hand and he said, what's your name again? He took out a business card and he said, I want you to call me when this is over next week. And I want to make sure that I help you have a successful career.
Absolutely.
And what you're doing. And that is really what changed everything with my career.
That's
hard work.
We've talked about it before. Joey mentions it all the time because of where he deals with the youth, right? With the kids coming up in high school. They don't understand, like adults don't understand something as simple as that makes you shine.
Yeah, man.
You're a star.
And especially when you do it with good intentions. You're not
you weren't gonna get any kickbacks.
Well, you're not stupid. People know it's like, I'm gonna work hard, but here's the job, here's the task, let's complete it. Nobody else is doing it, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's that simple.
And it comes back, and this is and not to make it seem like full circle, but it comes back to how we were raised in our community.
Right.
Even in the football program, you knew that everybody had to help clean the locker room. Everybody had to help pick up stuff and bring it in. I don't care if you were the star player up and everybody does the work.
Yeah.
And that was all I've known my entire life. So when I see an opportunity to give something that can help, it's no hesitation. Even to this day, man, I'm the guy. I will pick up and sweep and do whatever because that's all I know. That's and right. A lot of times people think you got to get away from that. You work hard to get away from that. That's how you really stay
what is
involved.
We started from the bottom.
Certainly.
Yeah, but a good leader works for the people below him, right?
That's
Works
right.
for them. You talk about, Joey, what's the people that reach out to you from Chevron, Ingalls, and all that? What's the number one thing they say that they want them kids to be able to do?
Just show up.
On
show
time.
Up and pass a drug test.
I was gonna say, pass a drug test. But show up on time, right?
Yeah.
Show up on time.
Yeah. It's so bad.
If you just do that in today's environment,
they can train you.
You're 8 steps ahead of the pack.
If you have a worth,
that's crazy.
Where you can show up Monday through Friday at a specific time, 7:00, be there at 7:00. You're already in the door, and that's what's crazy with the work ethic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Not in the door. You're leading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're there.
You know what I'm saying? You're ahead of the game. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. And that's paying good money.
That's shitty for society, but that's great for the individual.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
There's not many people like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Us that they get up and grind every morning.
I mean, it's sad because look at the nature of where we are in society now. Like, bro, I've never seen so many places that have help wanted signs.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
people don't want to do it though.
No, people don't want to work.
Everybody sit on the couch.
Well, and they think some of that shit's beneath them.
Yeah.
You think a job's beneath you and you don't have a job?
Yeah.
Explain that to me because I'm here to listen.
And then sometimes we think just because you get a pat on the back or you do something very well, that it immediately means that you are supposed to be promoted or just given. No. It's like, man, like
you got to put your time.
You got to put your time in, you know, and it is what it is. But that's kind of, the nature of my life and just how I am, man. I'm always down to do the work, bro.
So you bounced around. You went Nashville. Did you say New York? I heard Vegas in there at some point.
Wherever the work was.
Right. But like you said, you was a married man. You wanted to be at home.
Want to hang out with your kids.
Yeah, and that's funny because like I don't know if I've even said this on the show before. Joe, you probably heard me talk about it hanging out. I wanted to go to film school before I ever went in and did anything medical. Did you take Miss Perkins's?
I did,
dude.
Miss Perkins is awesome.
I'm talking about it now. Yeah. That was my favorite class in high school. It was so creative and free flowing, and it like I remember to this day just how that felt leaving. Right.
So y'all were News on Shoes alumni.
Yeah, man.
Are y'all News on Shoes?
That video
alumni?
was out there on Facebook somewhere. Doug shared it at one point. But dude, so I left out of that class like blown away, and I'm like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to film school. So after like a stint at, JC and did some other college stuff, I'm like, what do you love?
I was there.
And I was like you, dude. I'm like, I love doing this. I don't know what radio, television, and film really means, but I'm going to give it a shot. I went out to UNO, toured the campus, did the pre-enrollment, the whole thing. This is pre-Katrina, was going to go to school out there. And I'm driving home from New Orleans after having visited the campus and did that tour day thing where they take y'all around. And UNO's got a great film school. They put out a ton of movies. Denzel Washington filmed there. Like they did a lot of
stuff. Yeah.
I'm driving home and I just what you just said. That's why I bring this up. I'm thinking, dude, if I get this degree, I'm gonna have to go to LA or New York to work. And I'm like, I'm not ready to just move. I'm 22, no kids, no wife. I'm like, I'm not ready to just move out some big city by myself and go to war with the industry to try to make my name, And so I abandoned it and I went into healthcare. I don't regret the decision. It's a lot of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, right? To live that version. Social media technology caught up gives me the ability to do this here, and I'm thankful for it. But I respect what you're saying. Like young married man, you want to be home. So how did you turn that around?
Yeah.
Well, I took a risk, and of course it was a pay loss because coming here with my skill set, there wasn't much opportunity. Right. And thankfully, end up doing some work at my church where my father-in-law, gave me kind of, I guess, put me in a place where I could use my skill sets to kind of offset some of my loss. And it actually allowed me to really hone in my skills of how to really just become very versatile in all areas. So because of that, I launched my production company. And from there, I started to get work because people were like, wait a minute, like there's something different. I like what this guy's doing. Yeah. And my creativity was something that always stood out.
What year is this when you launched the production company?
this is like, this is post Katrina. So I want to say like maybe 09.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for all you youngsters out there, the internet exists.
Yeah.
Facebook exists, but it ain't what it is today, right?
It's not.
Right. It's not the same shit.
So still grinded.
Yeah.
Still
right?
grinded.
Absolutely.
Mobile phones ain't what they are right now. It's not.
Nobody's watching videos on phone.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And I say this, like, I've always been able to kind of see trends. That's kind of been my rabbit's foot, so to speak.
Right.
I study people a lot. So because of that, when I'm able to kind of see a shift ahead of a curve, it always allows me to position myself in a way
front of it.
Where I can be at the forefront. And because of that, I was doing a lot in audio, but I said when Napster hit and all of the digital downloads, I was like,
the money left, money's gone. Yeah,
I gotta get out of this.
Yep.
And people thought I was crazy, and they were like, "You're going to video? Like, what are you gonna do in video?" And I'm like, "Just wait and see."
Right.
And because of that, like, it was the same thing when I saw YouTube, and I said, "Oh, everything's going online."
Yep.
And I started building my arsenal to be more digital. And because of that, I was able to start creating myself as a person of value for people to start seeing how digital media could become an asset. And really, that's what brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
All right. So
but that's all visionaries. They can see one step ahead of what's going on in the market. And I think that's what you did.
Yeah. Well, I want to say this too, because a lot of times, a lot of people like me have the problem of understanding that being a visionary is tough because you don't have capital. So my career was, I did a lot of great things for a lot of people, but they owned it.
Yeah.
And it was like, and people would connect with me based on the fact that they knew I'm always creating, man. Like when I came in here, like I can sit in here and we can talk about things that you guys could do and like we could chop it up.
Yeah.
That's value.
Right.
I didn't know that back then. Right. So I was thinking people flying me out and just
poaching your ideas.
And they just, say that again.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And then next time we would have a meeting, it would be like, hey, so I decided to bring so-and-so in so they can sit
record.
Yeah.
You're like,
and they're documenting. And then honestly, and I'm a guy where I don't hold grudges, but like I've had TV show ideas and things that people have pitched of mine that went on to get deals, man, like on major networks, and I didn't get a dime. And then it was like, and I would call them and say, well,
hey, bro, that was mine.
Y'all are, where's my cut?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, no, you just gave it to us.
You gave us a great idea.
Yeah. We just executed. And I realized, my words have value.
Yeah. Right.
So,
but you did say one thing I just heard, because I was already thinking that, and you said it. And this is nothing against what you're saying. No. Ideas are valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the execution, though.
Yeah.
Right? Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I learned sometimes you just got to bet on yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you know you have a great idea, either get with somebody in writing that you can trust, that you can protect your idea.
Don't tell anybody.
And don't
keep their mouth shut.
Yeah, Doc. You gotta protect that thing, but you also gotta figure out a way, because in some of those scenarios, it taught me that I was able to really create something that could be on a major platform. So I understood that I actually had value that was bigger than just something I imagined could be. It was actually things that were manifested to be successful. So in those natures, I realized that, sometimes you need the reassurance that what I am and who I think I am is actually that person of value.
Right.
So because of that, I started to learn the industry a little bit more, and I learned the value of actually having an attorney and understanding contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of, I think you need all of it, man. I think you got to take some L's. Like nobody goes through life unscathed, dog. Like
again, look it up.
Same way we did it.
I don't care if you're talking musicians. I don't care if you're talking fighters. I don't care if you're talking politicians.
Yeah. We screwed this podcast up a million times before we got it right.
We still gonna screw it up in the future. I don't know.
We still screwing it up.
Yeah, but everybody has mistakes.
Everybody.
The only difference is, kids, write this down. The only difference is the people that keep getting back up. That is it. That is the only difference, right? You got to learn from your mistakes. Now, if you're just dumb, you're going to always be dumb until you're not dumb, but keep getting back up, right?
And it's like you said, my dad always told me something that was, let your first time be your worst time.
There you go.
So if you do it, don't let it be something that ends up being something you repeat over and over. Some people really just keep bumping their heads over and over.
Yeah, you got to adapt and overcome.
Well, and some people
go a different path.
Or they're too worried about getting it right the first time. They paralyze themselves to do. Get out there, mess it up a little bit. I mean, depending on what it is. But I mean, you got to learn trial by fire sometimes.
Everybody
get out there
fails.
and make it happen.
Absolutely. Especially in our work or line of work or whatever you want to call it, failure is all the time.
Yes,
all the time.
Like you take far more L's than you do wins, man.
Tom Brady's thrown picks before.
No
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's lost games by picks, I'm sure, right? But he's
still the go. Go ahead and say it. He's still the go. Go ahead and say it.
He's still a very successful quarterback.
He is a very successful quarterback. That's the best way to say that as a Saints fan.
He's a goat. I'll call him a goat.
But no, all right. So you launch your own company, 2009.
Yeah.
Video is where you're headed because you see audio is just got, smoked by Napster, which was an acute observation. Let's fast forward a little bit further and let's go into like videos banging now, social media.
Your
local,
it
right?
It amps it up even more.
All right. So let's go. I see you on Instagram or Facebook. Don't remember. I think it was the Alex North video.
Yeah.
Maybe something before that. Don't remember.
Yeah.
Might have been a podcast clip. All right. Because at the time I'm starting the podcast in 2018. So everything I'm seeing on my clips, especially if it's local, I'm like, what's this dude?
Yeah.
Who is this dude?
It's
What's he doing?
Yeah.
So I saw your stuff. I saw the Alex North clip. And then one day at the hospital at work, I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like, why do I know you?
Yeah.
You're familiar. And you got the cameras and everything. And I'm like, how do I know you? And we start chopping it up and it's you.
It's me.
So how did you get to this? How did you get to full-blown production company and then working, I don't know, am I saying it right, for Singing River or in conjunction with Singing River?
No, I'm with Singing River.
Okay.
So my production company it organically kept growing.
Okay.
Thankfully. And social media really made me more prevalent because what was different about me was kind of back to what I was telling you about that work ethic. I didn't really have a lot of opportunities to where I was working with crews. So my niche that really blew me up was that I could edit as I'm shooting. So in my mind, I'm already knowing the shots I'm getting and how I want them to look. What I would do at the end of a show or event or whatever I was shooting was have my MacBook Pro, and I would sit down and I would sit in the back of the venue while they were setting up or breaking down. I would be editing in Final Cut, and I would plug my hard drive up. And back then there wasn't like the cool little external ones. It was like, I had to have a physical wall, and people would be looking at me like, what is he doing? And because of that, like, I was able to be smart enough to understand, like, I would have like a recorder that I would set my Pro Tools rig up during the shoot, get an audio feed from the sound guy.
Okay.
This is what I talk about, networking and talking to people. So it was common practice for me. Anytime I arrived at a venue, I always had water and I always had snacks. So I would always give the sound guys water and snacks.
Yeah.
You think about the people nobody cares about.
Right.
They do the most for you.
Yes. They're the offensive linemen.
Yeah. They're the brains.
They're the
Everybody was chasing the celebrities. I was chasing the people that were supporting them.
The center, the right guard, the left.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go to their managers and say, hey, here, I grabbed some coffee. I noticed you were doing a lot. And then they were like, who are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't even care about, because they would say, oh, they're not doing pictures.
Right.
Can I get that feedback?
Idris Elba's not. He's not. He doesn't want to be. No. I'm here for you.
Right.
Like I just noticed. I'm the video guy. I just noticed that y'all came in hot. You've been running. Thought you might use some coffee.
You buttering that bread.
And people remember how you make them feel when if somebody stops and says, Joey, I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Here's something that could benefit you, add value. You're going to remember them before you forget anybody else.
Correct.
You're the guy that gave me this, right?
Yeah.
And then they started seeing me in more places, and then they remembered. And so the sound guy would say, hey, you need to meet my guy. Are you going to be in Chicago for the so-and-so?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to talk to my guy. He runs sound at that theater.
Right.
And now I'm starting to learn.
Now you're rubbing elbows.
Everybody's remembering Lo from Mississippi.
Right.
And I'm turning the projects around and I'm posting them to social. So then people are saying, the brands are saying, how do you already have something up for us to post?
Who is this dude?
Right.
Who is this dude?
Right.
And when you started seeing that, people are saying, who are they hiring to do this? And people thought I was a crew.
Right.
Like, I was doing this on my own.
Just a regular dude.
The audio's crisp because we're taping it straight into Pro Tools. And then I'm bouncing that out and I'm linking it and syncing it with the video that I'm shooting. And I got the best sounding, the best looking shots. Mm-hmm. And I'm a musician, so I know the tempo of the room. I can feel when it's building. I know these things. So all these things are adding together and they become very influential in my style. So because of that, and on top of my relationships with people, I'm now getting more and more.
Storm.
Yeah.
Perfect storm.
Yes.
So things just aligned at the right time.
A culmination of hard work and
there you go.
Somebody write that down on a napkin, please.
You got to get in there sometime and rub elbows.
You have to.
You got to.
Yeah.
And what better place to start than,
I'm giving all my secrets away, man.
No, you're just doing that. What they call that, the 30,000 foot view. You ain't telling that.
You ain't telling them.
But that's funny because that is actually that is the game. It is the 30,000 foot view. It's simple, fundamental work ethic. Blah blah blah. Fill in the blank. Show up on time. Do a good job.
And be consistent.
Be consistent.
Yes.
Work hard. If it's not, it's not my job. Shouldn't be in your vocabulary.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I love that. When did the podcast come into play? That's what I want to know.
So let me tell you what's funny. Back when I was at Berkeley, Apple tested podcasts years ago.
Okay.
But nobody bought into it.
No.
I will tell you this. My wife and I started dating in 2002. And for our first we've been together 1 year, she bought me an iPod.
Yeah.
Correct.
That had podcasts on it.
Yeah.
And literally you can get on podcasts and there was like 4. There was like 4 of them that you could do. It was
preloaded into it.
There was a
and it was
podcast preloaded into
really
an
like
iPod.
Major journalism like outlets.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been like
no, mainly writers.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
right.
you know what I mean?
It was worth, like, you didn't want to hear any of it.
Because you got to think radio was kind of in that weird space because here we go. Digital downloads are here. People like, what do I need radio for? When Steve Jobs just said you can have 50,000 songs in a device.
Well,
here it is.
It's public perception and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You can go back to episode 1 of this show, and I talked to my buddy J Bob about, I didn't even know what a podcast was the first time he mentioned it to me around 2008. I thought it was a piece of hardware, like the A10 Mini. It's a pod. What is a podcast? Is it what do you do?
Is
with
it a tangible?
Yeah, like
we're gonna give you a copy when you leave here.
Well, no, I mean, I thought it was like a guitar effects pedal.
Yeah,
like it's a podcast.
A physical.
Didn't know what it was. But
so I was always familiar with it. But then, like, I realized, like, I really do enjoy talking and telling stories. And, in college, documentaries were my main focus. So I've always loved the reality of situations. I attest that to my grandfather. One of my greatest memories was riding around with him in his Chevy Silverado. You remember the
C10?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, the big body. Yeah. So
everybody, Grandpa had
hey,
one.
man, that was the truck of all.
Do you remember what year it was? The truck? No, the truck. What year the truck?
Did he roll the window down and ride with his
man.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't.
My grandpa had a C10.
Right. Yeah.
He was 80
It was a beautiful truck, man.
They're still beautiful trucks.
Yes. And we would ride, and I would ride with him, and we would go when I was down in the summers with him, and he would go talk to his friends. They, guys used to just hang out at the store, at the general store, and they would just talk about what was going on. And I remember listening to older people tell the best stories.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's all that's left. It's like you're not out trying to chase the work or a new career. Like they just remember when. Yeah. And I just fell in love with how they all shared stories. So when I got into that, it really made me kind of fall in love with the documentary aspect, because it's nothing but documenting what actually happened.
Real life.
Yeah. Film, you can make it up.
Telling it to the best of your ability.
To your best of your ability.
It's like an accuracy.
Yeah.
Accuracy exercise.
There you go. So when I got into that, like, it just really made me fall in love with it and the art of storytelling. And to me, podcast was just storytelling.
It's all it is.
Sit up and just talk about whatever
we're doing right now.
What we doing right now,
That's
man.
It.
And I wanted to start, but it was crazy because the way it's everybody's starting one now, it wasn't like that initially.
What year did you start yours?
I want to say I tried it a couple times, and I was doing more like video versions of it. And that was maybe what we're in 2022 now.
Yep.
Maybe I want to say 2014, somewhere in there.
So you were doing video and audio?
Well, I would strip the audio out of the video.
Okay.
But I didn't like the format. Like trying to understand how my format would be was different.
Tough.
So I kind of put it on the shelf. We jumped in some comedy sketches, me and my brother-in-law, and we were doing that for a while. But I've always been drawn back to just talking with people.
Storytelling.
And storytelling.
Right.
Yes.
So pandemic really kind of brought me back to sitting down like, well, what are we going to do?
Platform.
It's the perfect time, man.
Yeah.
And because of that, like I was able to really use my now mature thinking and approach to say
some experience.
How do you approach it where it actually adds value?
Right.
I don't want to just be on here just ranting.
Blabbering.
Yeah. Because you there's a lot of noise out there, man. But like,
especially
people want to know what to expect when they come to your platform. And one thing about me is I've always loved people. I've always loved seeing people become the best versions of themselves, but primarily creatives, because creatives, we deal with some of the most challenging lifestyles. Like most people don't understand our visions. But then you deal with, a lot of times people don't want to talk about it, but we deal with depression. We deal with things of, if I can't build it fast enough, like I feel like I'm failing.
But there's a lot of failure.
Yeah.
A lot of failure.
And then you also have a lot of people that extract a lot of things from us because we are creative. And that is something which I alluded to in the beginning of the podcast, is that your creativity is a value.
Correct.
It's a currency.
Correct.
Which is, like I said, no different than being awarded. Like you're being awarded for creating something that most people want to see, but don't know how to do it. And when I learned that, like I was saying, well, how can I use my voice? Because a lot of people, man, I would have clients on retainers that would just pay me a retainer just to come in and talk. I'm like, you don't need, what do you need to create?
Right.
Oh, well, the stuff you're doing is great. Can we just sit and talk? And then I realized, like, once again, here's something that is adding value to people.
Right.
And it was therapy without being a therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a way, I call it breathing. When you think about breathing, you give something that you, in exchange for what you receive, right? And when breathing is done right, now, I have asthma. I can tell when my breathing isn't
correct
going right, because I feel it and I need some help. So I alluded to, like, what we're doing now. It's like planting, like trees, atmosphere, humans. We give carbon dioxide, we take in oxygen. All of our relationships should be like that.
A mutual exchange.
A mutual exchange. So I realized, like, creatives need to breathe. They need to be around people who exchange with them. I'm not just taking from you. I'm giving you something back for what you give me.
Right.
Like, I'm leaving this interview here feeling fulfilled, feeling recharged, because you guys are giving me something that is speaking to the creative in me, right? And because of that, I can go create more stuff,
right?
Which is how everything dies.
Yeah.
And that's what I said my podcast, and I named it The World According to Lo, because all of the great people I've met in my life, like I've learned so many lessons, and I'm constantly meeting new people. And I want to share these stories. I want to share these people with other creators for them to have the opportunity to love and enjoy these others as well. So that's how we got there, man.
And your world keeps getting bigger.
My world keeps growing, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're still in the trenches on the podcast. You having guests? Are you doing studio, digital, both? What?
I just had my first in-person interview yesterday with AJ Williams. Do y'all know Anthony Williams of AJ Williams Media? He did the Coastal Mississippi latest commercial. Y'all see it where it's like beautiful. They're showing the Shuckers game, the Boa Rides.
Oh yeah,
people on the beach. They've been pumping it.
Yes.
The tourism. Been pumping it a lot. But he just did a short film. We talked about it. It's called Blood in the Water. Great film by Anthony. And it was great just being back in person, man. It's just something about being able to tangibly sit across from somebody and have a conversation.
There's no better. I mean, you can do it online, you can do it virtually, but it's no better than me and you sitting across the table. That's where it's at.
That's
the banter, baby.
You know, we could. I like that.
That's the banter.
That's the banter, baby.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we are naturally storytellers. We love stories. Like even when we're kids, what's the first thing that our parents do with us?
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna read your story.
Right.
Stories are just
hurry up and go to sleep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just stand behind stories being a prominent part of our culture as human beings.
What about your work with Singing River? That's they go. You know, we're in deep in this, and I'm liking it. I knew this was gonna be a good one. We're doing.
You're on the TV right now.
Yeah, I am.
But so how did you get hooked up with Singing River, and what is your
affiliation
title?
Yeah.
What's the word?
So, with the pandemic and everything changed. So Singing River wanted to bring the marketing in-house. Sarah Duffy had put out that she was looking for a videographer guy, someone who could create content. Kristen Duhay, do y'all know Kristen?
I don't.
So Kristen Duhay, who is a great friend of mine. She works with Gulf Coast, Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, told Sarah about me. And from there, we connected. I was initially supposed to have started, and then like Corona hit up, and then it kind of stopped things for a while. And then eventually we end up getting everything worked out. But I end up coming on as the digital coordinator. So my role with the hospital is to create pretty much anything digital media.
Right.
From like I'm doing voiceovers, commercials.
We've
Matter of fact,
my
first Addy was with Do What It Takes, and I hadn't even been at the hospital 6 months, and we shot that in a COVID floor, just no crew. It was me. I had to.
Is this on, can I pull this somewhere while we're talking?
Yeah.
Is this on your page anywhere where I could possibly show this to people that are watching?
If not, I know it's on Singing Rivers. Do What It Takes. Like you can just, or YouTube, you can find it.
Okay.
Do What It Takes commercial Singing River. I don't have that one on just because I don't like to.
Yeah. What about okay? Do it. Y'all keep going. I'm gonna try to find this. I think people need to see this.
Yeah. So we did the Do What It Takes. It won a gold Addy for a commercial, but that was very.
Well, explain what Addies are first.
So that's a whole nother. That's a topic we ain't even touched on yet.
Yeah, but I want to hear what.
So the Addies are an award. It's like an Oscar for advertising commercials or anything advertising. It's the American Advertising Federation, and what they do is like I guess rate or scale the best works that were in advertising.
And is that in Mississippi on the coast?
Oh, it's national.
National. Okay.
But
it's national?
Yeah, but you start in your local, regional, or like
so
your
it's
state.
kind of like baseball. So
yeah.
You win state and you go to regional.
You go to regional, then you go national.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So we won in our state, we won a gold Addy my first year at Singing River for Do What It Takes commercial.
Right.
And it went so after that, we were like trying to change the narrative of what the hospital would be focused on outside of COVID, because it got really testy. Topic was
dark,
toxic as it comes. So we end up, and the great team, shout out to the great team, our marketing team that is incredible. Under Shannon Wall, who is our director, had tasked us to come up with a new slogan and focus, which we came up with: healthcare is self-care. And because of that, we had to come up with all these new scenarios and spots that would last for a year,
right,
or more. And because of that, I was tasked to oversee creating these 7 commercials over a 2-day window. And it was a very daunting task,
especially with COVID going on.
Yeah. So we did that. We had partnered with another local production company.
Right.
We hired in to come help us with the workload of that. And once again, like some guys from New Orleans, some of them, it was a mixed crew, but we ended up getting it done. And we just won 2 gold Addies based on that campaign. So, not to brag, but, you talking about back to back,
champions, the
champs here.
But we, say, how can you work with people to create things that is just stands out? And because of that, we have a great culmination of minds where we all play our roles, and we all, like, there is no egos involved.
Right.
A lot of times when you have people who all are very capable of leading, sometimes it's hard to get people.
There's one or two that want to step up.
Yeah.
Right.
But, Shannon she creates such a beautiful environment where, by her lead, we all feel confident in our roles.
Right.
So she allows you to shine in who you are without it being something that you feel is undermined or, neglected. So, yeah, man, we just won 2 more Addies this year for our healthcare self-care commercials. And you might see your boy playing a doctor. And
I see you with a stethoscope with a little beat going on.
Yeah, so I was over here. That's why I got quiet. I was over here trying to do the what was the first thing you told me to start?
Do what it takes.
Do what it takes. So it didn't come up on YouTube the way I needed it to. I couldn't find it. But the one I was thinking of to begin with, anyways, I didn't know it was called Don't Skip a Beat. I jumped over to Facebook and I got that video, and I think I got it queued up. Now, is that whole commercial 15 seconds long, or is it long? Okay, it's about 15 seconds long?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 15 seconds.
So, I got that pulled up. I think I'm going to be able to play this here for everybody that's watching on live.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about that. So how does this go from nothing to idea to what we're about to watch?
Yeah.
And who's all involved?
So we all
Don't skip a beat.
Don't skip a beat. So we're sitting there and we're throwing out, we have a window full of Post-it notes. Like I don't want to give away too much.
No, don't give away.
Yeah, I don't want to
30,000.
Yeah. I don't want to give it away, but we have a way.
We got 1 million people watching this right now. You don't want to give it away.
Absolutely. We have a system of how we kind of navigate our ideas and concepts. Right.
But there's a team of y'all.
There's a team of us. Okay. So, there's like 8 or 9 of us. We all have different roles, but creatively, we all work together.
Spitball, shooting ideas. What about that? What about
everything gets
from the art department to advertising? Like, all of us, we all have a say, right? And so we're going through this. My role is kind of to take these ideas and to help make them visionary. So to help make them actually something.
Put them together.
Almost like the difference between a concept drawing and then how do you actually engineer?
Yeah.
Which I think you said that's what your parents do, right?
That's what my parents.
How do you? Okay, you can draw it up and it can look like that, but how long is that? How
does it work?
How does that screw together with that? What kind of screws are we using? What kind of material does this need? That kind of stuff.
Yes.
So you're the bread.
So
everybody else is peanut butter and jelly.
I'm not gonna say that. We all
the sandwich.
Man.
We all the sandwich.
But like, I'm the video guy. Right. So when it comes to like concepts and commercials, like, everybody's leaning on me.
What works.
I do what I do. Like, I'm here for a reason. It's like you wouldn't have Tom Brady line up in a slot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, could he catch it? Possibly. We've seen 1 or 2. but like you're better
you're
at
not
your
fixing
role.
nobody's motor. I'm not
like,
fixing. Yeah,
I'm not the guy you call. You want to just rely on every day for like what is it, like TT, like all the commercial stuff, like funnels and all that.
Right.
You know, yeah, I can get it done, but like I'm probably not the guy.
This is what he's best at.
Right.
Yeah.
So I take the concepts we decide on, and then we make mock commercials. So I make a mock commercial on an iPhone.
Nice.
And like it resonates so much. Like they're like, Lo, you got to play the doctor. Like,
really?
This. And I'm like, no. I was just trying to let it.
Y'all know. Yeah. Like, this is the concept.
Like, it's a concept.
Yeah. We need actors.
We show it for the higher ups.
They're like,
everybody's like,
no, you the man.
Go back, play Lowe's again. And I'm like, oh God.
Now, is there multiple ideas being thrown out at the same time?
We have
multiple...
seven concepts that are up.
Okay.
And now some of them we couldn't make mocks of, like the golf one, because we didn't go out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the ones we just wanted people to get an idea of what the campaign would feel like.
Right.
And because of that, like there was one called Breathe Easier, where it was like Christina's sitting on a exam table, but the shot is close. And all you see in her meditate. And then when it pulls out, you see the doctor step in the frame and says, okay, now breathe in, breathe out. But you see it like, hey, even though you got to have an exam, it doesn't have to be like overwhelming.
Right.
You can breathe easier and have a very, just very comfortable experience.
Right.
But healthcare is self-care, right? You
love
know,
it, dude. I love it.
We go through these things and then I have to package all of these concepts. I have to storyboard them, script them out for the crews who have never seen any of this, to come in and execute them.
Right.
And, you know, we end up doing that. We go through it and they're like, who's the guy who packaged this? Like he really made it easy. We know exactly.
He's the main lead.
Yeah. And you're like, because I've done every avenue of this job, so I know.
Yes. Yeah. So I've lived this life. You know what I mean? And we go and we execute him in 2 days and end up winning, man.
Still playing right now.
So before we play it, I'm gonna run it. So my wife and I, we're big fans of like the 4:00 news. You know, WLOX, huge fans, and we joked. I've worked for both Gulfport Memorial Hospital, still do. Very proud to work for Singing River Hospital. And when y'all's commercials started hitting, we would be sitting there in the house, and I'd be looking over at it, and I'd be like, look at what Singing River's doing. Like they coming out swinging on the 4:00, 5:00 news. Like these commercials are exceptionally well done, well thought out. They hit. And you're telling me that was a conscious decision to bring this in-house, which I kind of felt like I knew, but you're saying it for real. That to me really is more legit. Y'all didn't hire some company from wherever, which would have been fine. That's fine.
A lot of people do.
That's fine. But I think that's maybe why they feel so homey. Because y'all made them.
We're all together every day.
You're part of this community, right? So
and we get to bring all of our perspectives to the table. Because I mean, let's just be honest. How often do you see a black doctor on TV in a commercial?
Not too long.
Like you know what I'm saying? But even in that, it was to the point where you can be edgy, you can still be you know what I mean? Like in the narrative of where it's like one of our
dude.
I can't go anywhere. I'm in Walmart and people are like,
hey, you the doctor.
Yes, you're the guy. I see you on TV.
Yeah.
Like a guy just recently stopped me and said, my kid loves your commercial. And you know what I mean?
Awesome. So the other facilities around here, I think, have had to up their game to keep up with what y'all are doing. And
say it again, brother.
I have noticed it.
Yeah.
Because we would joke. My wife and I'd be like, that's one of those commercials. I'm not gonna say any names anymore. Yeah. That's one of those commercials. It ain't one of these commercials.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, those commercials are getting better because of these commercials.
Absolutely.
And you
get in line, baby.
It's like a nuclear war race.
We're just raising the bar.
Yes, raising the bar.
And that's it. You know,
Singing River did a lot during COVID live.
Oh
and
yeah,
I think that helped.
Yes.
A whole lot.
We were going live 2-3 times a week.
Right.
Like shout out to, you know, like I said, Sarah and Lee were great at just keeping everybody informed. And that's the thing, like when you add value, it's really all about that.
Yep.
What are you adding
well,
value
when the
with?
world shuts down in South Mississippi for hurricanes and pandemics. So you either have radio or you have social media where the internet's still there. Yep. And you're given this is what's going on this week.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Hang in there. This is what you got to do. Blah, blah, blah. And it gives people a sense of hope, I think.
It does. And it threw gasoline on the fire of really understanding. We've already talked about this all night tonight.
Yeah.
Podcast, democratization of the media, talking directly to your clientele, your community, or your customer, right?
Right.
And I think Singing River jumped out. They understood it quick enough and then capitalized on it in a great way to talk directly to the community.
Absolutely.
They're not just a hospital, any hospital around here, not just Singing River, all hospitals. You're not just a hospital, you're the person who takes care of the community. And y'all were speaking directly to them.
Speaking
kudos
right
to y'all for that.
Audience.
Yes. With no barrier. Right.
And that's the beauty of social media.
Correct.
when used properly.
You know what I mean?
Because
it's got good, it's got bad, but let's talk about the good because it is there.
And I think a lot of times, to your point, what you just mentioned, a lot of people, the currency of creativity, right?
Yes.
If you don't have people who are visionary enough to see the opportunities that are there, you react versus doing something that is intentional. So we were very intentional about making sure our audience and the coast and the community stayed informed, regardless of what. And we used every opportunity to use tools available to us to do that. A lot of people saw that and wanted to react to it. And didn't really understand how to properly use it because they didn't have people in place that could do so. So it's no different than you guys with the podcast or just podcasts in general. Some people are just doing it because they think, oh, all you have to do is turn the camera on, get some mics and da-da-da. No, you got to have a strategy. It has to be a way that we want people to walk away from each and every episode. And I'm doing a class here right now.
Right.
But you want to
record this guy.
Like shout out, matter of fact, go buy some merch from Brown Water Banners because they hooking y'all up, man.
Yeah.
But you know,
go to Lowe, buy your stuff.
Hey man, hey, look, I'm here to support my boys. I'm proud of y'all, man. But like the strategy of what it takes to be remembered, to be present, even off air. Like you guys got the merch. I had my Brown Water banner.
I shared it
earlier. It was great. You know, I wear it because like it's a part of something that I enjoy. And because when you can do that and it's cycling outside of episodes, then you're really starting to see the return in the bill.
Right. Well, look, I got it pulled. You got something?
I was going to say, give us that Superman, bro. Show us that merch you got on right now.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my loyalty crew and my own camera. Yeah, shout out to the loyalty crew. You see the branding, Low. Everybody calls me Low, but I believe in loyalty. Anybody that knows me throughout life knows I'm the same guy from 10 years ago. In the aspect that I am always true to people I build relationships with. So what I did was create my loyalty crew through Patreon. You can sign up on patreon.com/Aloysius Ballard, or you can just go to my website, aloysiusballard.com, and you can sign up. And what we do is just build a community of creatives that support each other. We're loyal to each other, where we help each other grow, man. It's enough room for everybody to get
something. Everybody got to eat.
You nailed it on that one. Play
that beautiful bean footage.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Let's
show my commercial, man.
Let me see. Let me make sure I can do it. Let's add it to the stream. All right,
here it is. Look, you hit that beat already.
Hold on, let me go. I gotta do some clicking. Here we go.
Click. There he is.
With that, now, hopefully they can hear that.
Shh. This is the best part.
That was the shortened version. That was the shortened version.
That's not even the whole thing.
No,
I'm looking at it. That was it. Mine's 15 seconds.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now the one that they ran on the news, I could have sworn.
Now that we have, there were only a couple that were like full 60 or 60 seconds.
Okay, but
y'all just cutting added some stuff on it.
Like the golf one was a little more storytelling. You know, you editing, you can make anything work.
Yeah.
But my commercial was really meant to just be a very quick attention grabber that would catch people for the campaign. Yeah. See, like you got, once again, strategy. If you want to grab somebody's attention, why do you think we snap? Or we say, hey.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom. Look at me. Like, it's just to grab your attention, to pull you away from what's distracting you, to get you to say what I really want to say. Right. So my commercial was, and Shannon, don't kill me. I'm giving away so many nuggets.
No.
Yeah.
Our strategy was to really just use my commercial as a means to snap people to say, hey, there's something different we're doing.
Correct.
And we want your attention.
Correct.
Look at this.
Correct.
Right.
And now the rest of it, you see the other commercials that roll out.
Because now I got your attention.
Yeah.
And that blue and white branding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Color schemes, all of that.
Yep.
It plays a part, man.
Y'all killed it.
Yeah, I think y'all
absolutely killed it,
man.
And the community needed that in that time.
It was toxic, man.
Yeah.
Look, I was in it like head deep, man. The COVID conversation.
Both of y'all were in it.
Had ran us like our workers needed something new.
Yep.
Just our community, everything was just so muddy. And here comes this bright, vibrant campaign that just allows you to see something that's different and that lets you know, hey, you can take care of yourself.
Yep.
It's okay.
Right.
And I think it speaks for itself because people enjoyed it.
They did. I thoroughly did it because we talked about it plenty of times, and I was like, "Hey, man, you see that commercial in Cedar River?" And me and Jerry were talking like, they're killing it,
stepping it up,
absolutely killing it.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, we've talked about a lot of stuff tonight, but like I said, I see you in the hallways. And that was because you were coming in to set up, which, by the way, this is the first guest on the show that's ever brought his own camera crew that y'all can't even see. We got camera set up. We got nephew over here.
Shout out to my nephew, Galen, man.
If he wants to step in the camera, now's the time to do it. No, he's he's man behind the scene. I like that. I like that. That's professional.
Yeah.
He's shooting photos and stuff. But no, you set up your whole gear in actual OR with the consent of the patient and the physician, just to start even showing the community. You know, it's taboo, I think, at prior to social media. I've talked with one of our sponsors of the show, Dr. Robbie Williams, as a dentist.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robbie. I know Robbie.
The medical community, as far as what they can share and what they're willing to show, has been
evolved.
And they've been, I don't want to say late to the game, because it is a different,
it's delicate.
You're not selling cars, right? This is people's healthcare. This is somebody's foot, because I think that's what we're doing, that you're operating on, right? But when you explain something to a patient and they say, sure, no problem, come in here and show it, and a physician and a healthcare system decides that, we are going to show this in the right context, in the right place, with the right disclaimers, because you may want to see what you're going to go through. Some people don't. Some people don't. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, they don't want to look behind the curtain.
And that's okay. But if you do want to know more, we're going to show you and maybe
out.
remove some of the fear factor of what you're going through. And that's what you were doing when I met you. So I love it, dude. It's came full circle. We finally got you in on the show.
2 studios later.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And I'm glad we did. I'm glad it happened here. I'm glad it didn't happen anywhere else. And I'm glad it happened now, post-COVID, because it's a great way to talk about post-commercials, all of that. I think things work out, like you said, God has a plan. I think it played out that way. I want, unless you got anything else, Joey, I want you to
tell us where you can find them.
Yes, all your stuff. Like I said, where can if people are loving what they're hearing from you, where can they go?
So the easiest way to connect anything that I'm doing is through my website.
Okay.
So you can always go to aloysiusballard.com. That's ALOYSIUSBALLARD.
I got it on the screen already right there. They can see it.
Aloysiusballard.com. From there, you can navigate to any of my socials. You can join the loyalty crew. You can just see what I'm up to, because I'm also developing my own network, which is the BEPS network. So it is, my production company is now evolving into creating opportunities for other people. So I want to be able to produce shows. I want to be able to produce live events. Like my wife is one of my, she's one of my clients as well. That sounds funny.
Probably your best one.
But but she does a lot of things with her brand, Vision Hers, and she empowers women and supports women in that way.
She needs to come on the show.
I'll have her come up.
Both y'all come back and just chop it up.
But she's been in that lane for a while. She likes to champion and see women, just do their thing and shine. And I support that. Like I'm always willing to do whatever she needs for that. But the network itself is just to really help creatives. A lot of people don't know how to do what we're doing right now.
Right.
They have great stories. They have great ideas, but they're like, nobody wants to help. Well, I want to be the person that helps.
Love it.
And so we're developing that as well. And we're just trying to balance some of this content out here, man. Some of this stuff is so superficial.
Yep.
Like people need authentic things. Our kids need authentic things.
Right.
To know that everything is not about the just materialistic side of it, but you need to be a good person and you can create and have fun doing it, because my life is fun, man. And I don't have to be doing like, hey, let's see how many cars I can get and all this stuff. All that stuff is cool.
It is cool, but
it's
who can I help?
Yes. Right. What are you adding? What value are you adding? So yeah, check out the website, and then you can search me on any social media, AloysiusBallard.com.
Your merch is on your website?
Merch is coming.
All right.
I got
Joey's
the merch.
supposed to be helping you with that.
Joey, man, what up, man? Come on. I need all this. I need all these great things.
We'll put low on everything. We put Pelicans on everything.
You
put low on everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, Facebook though. I know you're on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on IG. Like I said, you can look me up, Aloysius Ballard, and I'm everywhere. This is the other person in the world that has my name is my nephew, and you can tell I look more handsome than he
That's right.
So just follow.
I love it, dude. Hey, thank you for your time.
Hey, man,
thank you for coming in here.
Great,
thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah,
so we made it happen.
And I want to say this real quick before we go. We talked about this almost 2 years ago about me coming.
I'm embarrassed that it was
no. But I love it because it attests to what I said earlier about connecting with people in a real way.
Yep.
And staying connected, because I follow y'all's show. I stay plugged in, and I support as much as I can. And when you do that organically, it'll happen. Sometimes timing just got to come.
Correct.
That's right.
And when you hit me, like today was the perfect day.
And I was like, man, I feel like an asshole because I'm like, dude, I told you, I said, I know it's short notice. I'm sorry.
It was
but
perfect.
Like, his schedule, my schedule, let's do it. And you
see alignment, man.
Yeah.
So
stars.
Yeah.
And make sure y'all go check out The World According to Lo on Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever.
Probably Spotify, right? The whole nine,
man. I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
Give me the 5-star rating, man.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
5-star.
And look, like you mentioned earlier, network too. Like, tag us, let us know, give us your stuff, let us know what you got, and we'll share it out, because we've always been about that, building, especially local, network, man. We
got to do it, man.
So, especially them jackets, baby.
Exactly. Share Squad, like you do something. Boom,
how are we not in the Hall of Fame yet, bro?
I don't know.
Who votes on that?
You already
not us.
You already said timing.
Timing. There we go.
Time,
yeah,
it's a matter of time,
baby.
It's a matter of time.
We'll get there.
All
right. Well, look, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching us on the live stream. Thanks everybody on the repeat of the audio. We appreciate it. Like we always say, we got more coming for you. Just stick with us, and let's ride this train all the way till the end.
There you go, baby.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, and y'all have a